Alright, what is up ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another video. And in today's video, we are checking out 3 true Omegle horror stories animated. Now, if you guys don't know what Omegle is, you're living under a rock. Basically, Omegle is an online website that's free, and you can go on it and you can meet strangers. And basically, they can do realistically whatever they want on camera and show you, but you mainly go on there to talk to people, kind of do whatever, have fun, hang out with your friends and just do stupid things, whatever. That's kind of the whole gist of what you do on Omegle. But oftentimes you will find those weird, creepy guys on there that are just staring at the camera or don't really know what they're doing. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at today with the 3 true Omegle horror stories animated. So, without further ado, let's check out this video. Also, we're not going to watch the whole thing. We might just watch only 2 depending on how much I pause the video, alright? And then, yeah. So, we're going to check out 2 of them. Let's see the first one right now. Oh wait, hold up. Before I do anything, let me turn my volume down. I remember from last time, right? Horror Shorts Party.
Told that college would be this super foundational time where you have fun to form critical memories. But 5 years on it from now, at 27 years old, there's only one memory that sticks out. And unfortunately, it doesn't have anything to do with girls or going out and partying. But instead, something that happened on Omegle. I've always been a loner and a geek my whole life. I didn't successfully come out of my shell in college, although I wanted to. That's why I moved into the dorm rooms near my campus in the first place. I figured it'd be a great way to meet people and socialize, but I ended up getting straddled with huge room and board expenses on top of my tuition debt. I never managed to make any friends in my hall. That's how I caved in and fell back on being a parasocial weirdo through the gateway of the internet. Through Omegle more specifically. It's a website that pairs you up with random strangers so you can text or video chat. That's where I spent most of my time trying to meet people in the online world. But in a lot of ways, it was more of the same of what I got in the real world. Most people skip me almost immediately.
Okay. I guess I kind of understand that, but at the same time, you won't find, like, friends necessarily on Omegle. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that, because I actually did meet one person, and I still talk to that person to this day. I still do. But, that was a very rare case. Actually, no, I met 2. No, wait, actually, I met 3. Okay, hold on. And I still do talk to them occasionally. But yeah, most of the time, you're not going to find people. It's just to mess around with. If you're looking for it in a social interaction standpoint, you're probably not going to find much people to talk with, because most are on there to just do stupid stuff. Not like actually have a conversation or make friends or whatever.
Immediately. A lot of the people that I managed to have conversations with were older men, who seemed insightful at first, but then turned out to be weird and creepy. Then, of course, there was the classic Omegle horde of people without a webcam trying to bait me to give out my ASL. But every once in a while, there was a good conversation to be had with someone who wasn't trying to seduce me. I held out hope to get paired with people like them through dealing with all the BS. One night, after I finished studying...
I don't get it. What is he? He's just trying to be social with people online? That seems just very weird. Like,
I turned off the lights in my room so people wouldn't see it behind me. Then I hopped onto Omegle to look for a decent person to talk to. That night, more than all the others, went off to an insane start. The very first stranger I encountered was instantly showing me their bare feet. I could tell it was a man's by the hairy legs and toes, too. They were standing on top of their desk with their camera pointed straight at their ingrown toenails. I was frozen by the sight of it. I had no idea.
If you guys don't know what that is, if you guys don't know the whole story, that's good. You don't want to know the full story. You don't want to even think about the full story. It's bad. If there's any bad parts, I will just cut it out. But
idea what to say to something like that, so I didn't say anything.
Just
I didn't skip though. I was hoping it would go somewhere entertaining. And I was
It is animated, so it's not TOS.
More than used to seeing exposed ugly people, since that sort of thing was oddly common to see on Omegle. After a long awkward silence, I tried to open the conversation. Hi.
Well, hi there.
Nice feet.
Thanks, I've been told.
Okay. Let's simmer it down a little bit. We're getting in the weird zone here.
Can I see your face, sir?
Only if you let me show you my special talent.
You have a special talent? Sure, man, bring it on.
Splendid. Stay right there. Don't you dare click skip. You got that?
Okay. A split second later, the stranger put a watermelon-sized glass jar down the desk between his legs and shouted like he was pretending to be a magician or something. He then said,
I call this act one man, one jar. Are you ready to see my contortionism demonstration?
Sure.
I said, are you ready to see my contortionism demonstration?
Yeah, man, do it.
All right, brace yourself.
Okay, what the hell? There's no way my guy just was like, oh yeah, do it.
The man then put both his feet in the jar.
What?
Then, he crouched down and stuffed in his legs. I watched in awe as he squeezed his entire body into it, until it was completely inside the jar. His face was visible, but was completely smushed up against the glass, and I could finally see his face. He looked to be some balding middle-aged guy living in a drafty old apartment. Then, with his one free arm, he reached over and grabbed a lid and somehow managed to put it on top of himself, closing the jar with his entire body sealed inside. I couldn't tell if the pressure was distorting his face or if he was just crazy, but he smiled at me very disturbingly, like he was waiting for me to applaud. I didn't have any words. I couldn't comprehend how a grown man had fit himself into something so small.
Well, what do you think?
What?
That's very cool.
That's not what I expected to happen. There's no way this is real, right? Am I
Cool, but can you get out?
Can I get out? Of course I can get out. Watch.
That's when he tried to push the lid off, but as soon as I saw it not move, the man's smile started to slowly vanish from his face. I knew something was wrong. He kept trying to push himself up to get the lid off his back, but he wasn't able to budge it. He was too tightly packed in there to maneuver, and he couldn't get any leverage from the position he was in. All of a sudden, panic was written all over him. His face turned red and puffy, and he frantically tried to move whatever he could, but all of it barely amounted to anything more than rattling his cage. Quickly, it started to seem as though he was having trouble breathing, too.
Help me! I can't move, I'm stuck! Oh God, I'm stuck! Help!
I don't know what to do!
Get me out of here, please!
But I don't know where you are! Tell me where you are and I'll call the cops! After the reality had set in that he was completely stuck, the panic had turned into utter despair. He was sobbing incoherently, completely incapable of forming words. Tears and snot and drool streaming from his face and down inside the wall of the jar.
Nah.
What is your location?
Yo, people who have claustrophobia, that happened. I mean, if this happened to anyone, I think anyone would react like this, but
Tell me!
still.
I'm in my apartment. Please come find me. Please. Come find me.
What's your address? Please, that's all I need to know and you'll be okay! Damn it, man, focus! No! No! It only took me a second to realize what I had done. I became so panicked and frustrated that I accidentally pressed the skip button when I banged my fist on the table, causing me and the stranger to be disconnected forever. I'll never be able to properly describe that sinking feeling I felt in that moment, knowing I had just doomed that man to his unusual fate of slowly suffocating, trapped, alone, unable to move. My hands were shaking uncontrollably.
Okay, but if you're gonna do that, you might as well just die like that anyways. Sorry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, bro.
I didn't think there was anything I could do. If I called the police, they wouldn't be able to find him since I never heard his address. I didn't record any of it, and there's no way of knowing where somebody is from Omegle. Without a better idea, I swore to never go back on there. I tried to forget that I was ever on Omegle in the first place. I actually got drunk for the first time that night, in hopes that I could go to bed and sleep without much trouble. But God knows, even after all these years, there's nothing that will get the image of that trapped man in a jar out of my head. It's been haunting me for so long. Every day I wonder what happened to him, if anybody ever came to rescue him, or if those moments he spent with me over the internet were his last moments with anyone. These days, I remember one man, one jar as a friend.
What? Okay. That was weird. Alright, second one. True Omegle Horror Story 2. This is narrated by someone else. Catman. Catman.
Back in 2014, I experienced something I still can't explain. I was still living at home at the time as an only child. I didn't have many friends or any hobbies to speak of, so I spent most of my free time surfing the internet looking for
Yo, this guy looking kind of weird.
anything that could hold my attention. On the weekends, I would wait for my parents to leave the house. Then, like most teenagers,
bro, you're a weird kid, bro.
The alone time to browse through devious content.
Guys,
on the night that this unexplainable thing happened, I was
Guys, what if I just recorded every video like this?
Getting up to the same thing I always did. When I was finally home alone, I closed my door and
guys, this video is insane.
The curtains, turned the lights off, and grabbed a box of tissues from the bathroom, in case I got a runny nose while I was watching what I was finally able to watch now that nobody was around. My parents said they would be gone all night, though I knew I could stay at it for as long as I wanted. Of course, that meant that there were quite a few soiled and crumpled up tissues tossed into the bin. But after a couple hours, I was pretty much drained and bored of just watching stuff by myself like I did every weekend, and I was starting to wish I had someone to talk to. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, I didn't have very many friends.
I wonder why.
Nobody that I could call close. The handful of people I could think of to text never even read my messages. So rather than beg the people I sort of knew at the time to talk to me, I figured I'd have better luck with strangers. I had already known about Omegle for some time by then, mostly by watching YouTubers exploring all the different tags you can add to your search for new friends, but I'd never used it myself. I didn't have friends.
Video games, anime, movies. In my opinion, I guess that's not a bad thing.
Because of my social anxiety, and that bled over to video chatting too, which I wasn't super comfortable with in the beginning, especially since they were all strangers. But it was better than tossing tissues all night, and I figured there was no way I'd ever see any of the people I met more than once, let alone run into them in person, so I gave it a shot. Obviously, just like anyone else would see, my initial experience on Omegle.
That is weird. 'Cause like, even though you know you're never going to meet someone on Omegle again, most likely, right? You most likely will never meet them again, ever see them again in your entire life once you skip them. So, why do we still fear, like, let's say you were to see a cute girl or whatever on Omegle, and you're like, wow, I should ask for that person's Snapchat, but then you don't. You're never gonna see them again. You'll never have to deal with the embarrassment. Like, I don't know.
I was getting flooded by a bunch of creepy old men asking for my ASL. I skipped over all those guys, and it really felt like I was trudging through an endless ocean of them. But even when I found somebody who looked decent, I would get skipped by them. It was only my first time on Omegle, but if it was supposed to be a place where you could talk to people, then that night was not a good night for it. All the freaks and weirdos seemed to be out, and I was starting.
Bro, no, but this is true. These are the freaks and weirdos that are on Omegle.
To lose hope that I would ever find anybody of interest. I thought about calling it quits, but then I felt like giving it just a few more tries. That's when I encountered the most unusual thing I'd seen all night. Whoever or whatever they were, someone or something, they were creepier than any run-of-the-mill offender on Omegle. I was immediately so petrified by the image in front of me that I couldn't even click away from it. I just kept staring at the screen, trying to figure out what in the world I was looking at. I couldn't tell if they were wearing some kind of mask or a bunch of weird makeup. They barely looked human, and if they were,
but this guy needs
severely deranged.
If you're getting this scared over something on Omegle,
to describe him, it looked like a male figure with deathly pale skin, dark sunken-in eyes, and a strange, scraggly haircut, like they were halfway dead and already starting to decompose. Then, out of the blue, the man started meowing, like he thought he was some sort of cat man. creeped me out, but I was still suspecting that I was getting pranked somehow, although I had no idea how any of this was supposed to be funny. Hello? What's up with you? Why don't you talk like a normal person? After I tried speaking to him, my computer screen started glitching out, and that's when the Catman jumped from his seat to his desk, landing backwards on all fours like he was about to start spider walking in front of the camera like the possessed girl from The Exorcist. It happened so fast that I flinched and fell off my chair.
Nah, okay, I would be freaking out. I would be freaking out.
Awestruck, the Catman stared right into the camera, except his face was upside down now from the position he was in. He was still meowing too, which just added to the uneasy feeling that was building about this whole situation. I'd seen so many horror movies and it felt like any one of them could come true at any moment. I half expected him to crawl out through the screen and reap my soul.
What the hell do you want? Why are you doing that? Do you think this is funny, sicko?
He didn't seem to care about what I said, and if he did, I think it was only upsetting him, because it was then that his head began to twitch as he slowly craned to the side until it was totally horizontal, all the while shrieking with one long meow, opening his mouth wider and wider, to the point that it looked like he had inhumanly large set of jaws.
What the hell is the matter with you? Stop meowing at me!
I was horrified by whatever was about to happen next, but then the glitching in the screen got worse and uncontrollable, and eventually froze, blocking up the whole computer and forcing it to crash.
Smash
I breathed a deep sigh of relief that the computer shut itself off. I was still dumbstruck in the darkness and sitting on the floor, so I have no idea how long I would have let that go on before I came to my senses and skipped that psycho. I eventually picked myself up and left my computer alone for the night, deciding to get some sleep and see if I couldn't forget the whole thing, or at least put some mental distance between me and it. It was difficult to get to sleep after being so shaken up, but I did get there after calming down for a little while. The next morning, things almost seemed alright. I could still vividly remember the strangeness of the Catman, his annoying meowing and corpse-like appearance. But other than that, everything seemed normal. That was, until I stood in front of the mirror before stepping into the shower and noticed the deep cat scratches all over my body.
What? Wow. Alright. Well, that was interesting. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's reacts. Like I said, every Tuesday we upload a reacts. Last Tuesday, for some reason, my video was like only certain countries could see it. So if you live in the US, I'm sorry, but you didn't get to see that video. Meaning I couldn't even watch my own video if I wanted to. So I have no idea how many views, how many likes, or anything that it got, or any comments, because I can't watch my own video. Yeah, so, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys leave a like down below and subscribe if you want to see more reacts videos. And make sure you join the Discord as well, and send some videos there, and I'll definitely look into those, and maybe I'll react to some of them. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Boop, bop, boop, bop, boop, boop. Take care.